Now on 4 News Now at 6, downtown Spokane erupts in smoke and chants as police and protesters clash. Dozens arrested, including the former city councilman who started it all.
The things went from tiny to enormous very quickly.
We have live team coverage tonight on law enforcement's decision to use force and what services are available to those who've been charged and how law enforcement are preparing for other protests happening later this week. You're watching 4 News Now at 6. Well, here's a live look at a protest happening right now on the Sherman Freeway overpass. Organizers say they are protesting fascism groups and ICE raids. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Derek Dice.
And I'm Kirsten O'Connor. This group tonight is a much different scene than the ICE protest we brought you less than 24 hours ago. A clash of protesters and police last night, all starting with one man, former Spokane City Councilman Ben Stuckert, sitting in front of an ICE bus he says was scheduled to carry undocumented migrants to a detention facility in Tacoma. Stuckert eventually arrested and booked on failure to disperse charges. We have team coverage tonight. We begin with Marissa Rio, who brought us live coverage for hours of that chaos last night.
Hey, Marissa, you're at the protest right now at that Sherman overpass. What can you tell us about this one?
Derek and Kirsten, this is a part of No Fascist USA. As you can see some of these signs here, a few of these protesters tell me that they are against how the Trump administration is handling things. They think the administration is overreaching, but they're also against these ICE raids. Now, like you mentioned, just 24 hours ago, we were in downtown Spokane for the ICE protest. I was able to speak with Ben Stuckert earlier today, and he was emotional as he spoke about why yesterday's protest started. If you remember, this all started for a 21-year-old asylum seeker named Caesar. He says that they came in for what he believed to be a routine ICE check-in yesterday, and that's when Caesar was detained. Now, he decided to protest because he wanted to try and free Caesar. While he's grateful for the strong support from the community, he's also disappointed with how certain things unfolded.
Because it's not right. It's not morally right.
Emotions ran high yesterday as Ben Stuckert prepared to block this bus. This video was from around 2 p.m. at the start of the protest.
Because my goal all day long was just to free Caesar and Joshua. And
less than 24 hours later, we're talking to Stuckert after his release from jail. About a dozen people joined him from the start. People chanted and the crowd grew. One protester deflated one of the bus's tires, and another man on his bike came and spray painted the windshield of the bus before riding away. Others joined Stuckert and sat with him to block the entrance of the bus.
It escalated throughout the day as the news media saw and KXLY saw that things grew bigger and bigger. And
tensions rose, and by 6 p.m., protesters stood arm in arm in front of this gate. Here you can see agents pushing some of the protesters out of the way.
But things went from tiny to enormous very quickly or over time, and then got really big. But no, I didn't anticipate that.
Around 6:30, Spokane police arrived. Spokane County Sheriff's Office followed.
The whole situation should have been started from when the police showed up with their de-escalation team. And I'm severely disappointed from my conversations with the chief and the mayor that the de-escalation they promised did not happen.
Law enforcement warned protesters to disperse or face arrest. Officers and protesters clashed, and multiple people were detained, including Stuckert, at around 7:30. Things continued to escalate, and someone deployed something into the crowd that was believed to be pepper spray, and smoke filled the air. By 8:30, Mayor Lisa Brown declared a state of emergency and announced a curfew. By this time, there were hundreds of protesters.
Wow, Spokane really showed up, and there were hundreds of people fighting for these two young men. And when you hear hundreds of people chanting, "Let them go," you know people care.
By 9 p.m., the detainees, including Caesar, were seen escorted away in vans.
It just makes me really sad to think about them in Tacoma.
Earlier today, I got off the phone with Latinos in Spokane who say they are providing legal assistance to Cesar and Joshua, who is another Venezuelan man they say was also detained by ICE. yesterday. Now, Latinos in Spokane says that these detainments were done without due process, and this is something that we also heard protesters chanting yesterday. Live in Spokane, Marissa Rio, 4 News Now.
Marissa, thank you. And as you saw in our video, law enforcement agencies used smoke to try and break up the crowd yesterday.
This is democracy in America. Democracy in America, where peaceful protesters are gassed.
Our Mary Sheridan was also at last night's protest and breathed in some of that smoke herself. Mary, what have you learned about the tactics used by police last night and why?
Well, Kirsten, I reached out to Spokane Police today for an interview, but was only able to speak to them quite briefly on the phone. They said they did not use rubber bullets into the crowd at the protests last night, and neither did the Spokane County Sheriff's Office. Sheriff John Knowles told me that the use of foam batons was only fired at select protesters who chose to throw smoke canisters at his deputies. But it was inevitable that others would also get caught in the crossfire.
I got there and was just, trying to support people and support the cause we cared about.
23-year-old Harris Kaler is walking a little slower and stiffer today. That's because he says he was hit with a smoke canister during the chaos of Wednesday's ICE protest in downtown Spokane.
I got hit in the lower back, in the arm, and in the back of the head.
4 hours in the emergency room gave Kaler some time to reflect.
The problem could have been de-escalated in countless different ways before this happened, but they chose aggression. That's as simple as that.
At last night's press conference, Mayor Lisa Brown explained she made the decision to involve Spokane police when Washington law and the safety of the public was violated. Chief Kevin Hall explains.
What we saw was, as the mayor pointed out, an escalation in criminal behavior, not by everybody in the crowd. Certainly there were peaceful folks demonstrating and utilizing their First Amendment rights.
R.E. Dean organized one of the protests that merged with the Washington Street movement. They said their team made sure to communicate what situation they were walking into.
Once it gets to a situation like that where it's pretty chaotic, people then make their own decisions based on the information that they have.
And Dean's organization says that they plan to have a presence this weekend at Pride and at the No Kings protest. But their next formal protest will be at the federal courthouse during Martin Diaz's hearing, and that's on Monday. These are all events that we're going to keep you updated about here at KXLY. For now, reporting live in Spokane, Mary Sheridan, 4 News Now.
Mary, thank you. This is video of 2 of the protesters who were arrested during last night's demonstration. Both were charged in court today with unlawful imprisonment charges for preventing ICE agents from leaving that facility with prisoners. They are both being represented by this lawyer on the left-hand side of your screen, provided by the Maxey Law Office. The law office says it is offering legal help for anyone who was arrested last night. Maxey says most are facing misdemeanor charges, and they believe that they will not stick.
Well, several of our local lawmakers reacting to last night's protests. Eastern Washington U.S. Representative Michael Baumgardner writing, "It is imperative that local government officials in Washington state work collaboratively with federal officials to enforce immigration laws."
And Senator Patty Murray blaming President Donald Trump for the protests happening across the country, writing, quote, "The Trump administration is intentionally provoking chaos, terror, and disorder in our communities by bringing in federal agents to grab people off the streets." To read their full statements, you can find the story right now on KXLY.com.
With the national protest planned for this weekend, some are worried it could interfere with Spokane's Pride Parade happening on Saturday.
We are aware of some other protests going on as well within the city. We're keeping tabs on them.
We'll explain the steps organizers are taking to make sure their event goes off without a hitch tonight in our 6:30 half hour.
And it's not just in Spokane. Law enforcement in Kootenai County also preparing for protests this weekend. One is set to be held right in the heart of Coeur d'Alene, and the other could potentially block a part of I-90. Coeur d'Alene police plan to work with the county sheriff's office and Idaho State Patrol to make sure that the protests are peaceful.
We can kind of draw from the same pool of resources if we need to. If something big were to happen in the county and they needed to have additional officers out there to help them out, obviously they can call us, and we're willing and wanting to go help them.
The Kootenai County Sheriff's Office says it plans to have a large presence at all of the planned protests this weekend.
Well, if you smelled smoke while you were out and about today, you are not alone.
Yeah, as soon as I opened the slider this morning, I could smell it. Our winds are blowing in some wildfire smoke from other parts of the state. Forecaster Jason Valentine is in for Chris Crocker tonight with your First Alert forecast.
Thank you so much. And yeah, we're a little over a week away from summer, and we're already seeing smoke coming into our region. So it's still at the moderate zone. I'll get to that in a bit. A beautiful day today, and we have a beautiful evening ahead. And looks like we're going to be seeing some good conditions for your Father's Day weekend. But current air quality, we're still looking at moderate zone. So that's kind of the first step just after good quality, green. We're looking at moderate air quality, and we're hoping it stays right there or improves as we head into our weekend. But we are seeing quite a bit of smoke coming in from fires in the Tri-Cities and fires in the Dalles down in Oregon, in the central northern part of Oregon. So smoke is definitely making its presence known, but I guess one thing to feel good about, it is much, much worse in the state of Montana, especially in the northern area there. So taking a look at our smoke forecast, you can see all of that smoke coming in from the Dalles, and it is going to start to creep to the north. Maybe Pullman getting some tomorrow morning, and that could continue to move north into the Spokane region. So we're going to keep a close eye on that. But aside from that, a very lovely evening is ahead. Overnight lows starting to get a little bit cooler around the mid-50s after being in the 60s for the past couple of overnight periods. So folks, let me get you ready for your Friday and your Father's Day weekend. That's coming up in my First Alert weather forecast.
All right, Jason, thank you. Coming up, a Spokane student makes a big career shift from psychology to biomanufacturing. How a new program at SCC is opening doors into a growing industry and guaranteeing interviews with a major local employer.
And after the break, comparisons to the 2020 riots are swirling online after last night's protest in Spokane. But downtown business owners are not panicking. Why many believe this weekend will stay peaceful, and why some are welcoming people to speak out.
Download the KXLY Plus app on your connected TV.
4 News Now is brought to you by Fairway Floor.
It's our endless summer savings sales event where you'll find new Sierra 1500s with savings up to $19,250 off MSRP. There's never any dealer-added markups on new vehicles. And ask us about our 3-day return and 7-day exchange at GMC of Riverfront Park.
Looks like we made it! Barry Manilow. The last Spokane concert. Barry Manilow. See him performing all the hits for one night only at Spokane Arena Friday, July 11th. Get tickets now at ticketswest.com.
Dupixent helps people with asthma breathe better. So this is better. That too. Dupixent's an add-on treatment for specific types of moderate to severe asthma. Some people felt their asthma symptoms improve in as little as 3 days. Dupixent's not for sudden breathing problems. It helps prevent asthma attacks. Severe allergic reactions can occur. Get help right away for face, mouth, tongue, or throat swelling, wheezing, or trouble breathing. Tell your doctor right away of signs of inflamed blood vessels like rash, chest pain, worsening shortness of breath, brown or dark-colored urine, tingling or numbness in limbs. Tell your doctor of new or worsening skin symptoms, joint aches and pain, or a parasitic infection. Don't change or stop other treatments without talking to your doctor. When you can get more out of your lungs, you can do more with less asthma. And isn't that better? Ask your doctor about Dupixent, the most prescribed biologic in asthma. Also approved as an add-on treatment for adults with COPD that is not well controlled and with a specific marker of inflammation.
It's our endless summer savings sales event where new Sierra 2500s come with $5,500 off MSRP or 3.95% APR. There's never any dealer-added markups on new vehicles. And ask us about our 3-day return and 7-day exchange at GMC of Riverfront Park.
Get out the way! Get out the way! Eyes, get out
out the way.
Well, some people online are comparing last night's protests in downtown Spokane to the riot that took place back in 2020 when thousands took to the streets to protest the death of George Floyd.
Police used gas to break up protesters as some began to break into some of those businesses and began looting back in 2020. With a string of protests planned for this weekend, Jordan Smith has been checking in with local businesses today to gauge where they are as thousands will be flocking to downtown Spokane this weekend.
Yeah, you said it, Kirsten. Tens of thousands of people coming downtown for Pride and an unknown number of people coming down here for a handful of protests. But the businesses that I met with here behind me, they tell me they're not battening down the hatches. They're not boarding up the windows. They're not concerned that we'll see what we saw back in 2020. They think that we're going to see what we have seen in so many of these protests against ICE across the country, that they're going to remain mostly peaceful.
I'm not concerned about it too much.
Jesse McCauley echoed what a few of the neighbors on his downtown block are thinking ahead of this weekend's protests.
We just try to provide a safe space, so we're just hoping that everything goes really well this weekend and that people are safe and that people have a good time and just really get to enjoy themselves.
McCauley isn't particularly worried about ICE protests escalating to the level that we saw back in 2020 when buildings were vandalized, windows were smashed, and there were some instances of looting in downtown stores.
I think a lot of instances where people smashed out windows and stuff in 2020, a lot of that too was also people that weren't even involved in the situations. They were just looking for an opportunity to cause trouble.
The majority of ICE protests nationwide, including the one last night in downtown, have remained mostly peaceful. Rather than fearing this weekend's protest might get out of hand, McCauley is actually encouraging people to let their voices be heard.
I think that some of these protests are things that need to happen. I think that basic human rights are being violated. So I think that it's important that some of this stuff happens.
And there is expected to be a large police presence here in downtown all throughout the weekend. And again, it is important to note that there are a few bad actors with every protest, it seems. But the majority of these ICE protests that we've seen both here and across the country, they have remained mostly peaceful. Again, these businesses, optimistic it'll be peaceful, and fingers crossed that that'll remain the case as tens of thousands come downtown this weekend. Reporting live in downtown tonight, Jordan Smith, 4 News Now.
And speaking of this weekend, we have a preview of how it's going to look for your Father's Day weekend. And yes, smoke is starting to creep into our regions. Let me get you and your family prepared. My first alert weather forecast, that is next on 4 News Now at 6. Stick with us.
Live stream KXLY Plus on the 4 News Now app.
Dupixent helps people with asthma breathe better. So this is better. And this. Dupixent's an add-on treatment for specific types of moderate to severe asthma. It's not for sudden breathing problems. It's proven to help prevent asthma attacks. Severe allergic reactions can occur. Get help right away for face, mouth, tongue, or throat swelling, wheezing, or trouble breathing. Tell your doctor right away of signs of inflamed blood vessels like rash, chest pain, worsening shortness of breath, brown or dark-colored urine, tingling or numbness in limbs. Tell your doctor of new or worsening skin symptoms, joint aches and pain, or a parasitic infection. Don't change or stop other treatments without talking to your doctor. Ask your specialist about Dupixent.
The Medellin Falls Bigfoot Festival, presented by the Kalispel Tribe of Indians, returns to Pend Oreille County June 14th and 15th. From Sasquatch-themed crafts to Bigfoot merchandise, a 5K fun run, and food vendors from across the region, this event is guaranteed to leave you amazed and entertained. Get your tickets to hear from the country's foremost experts about their Bigfoot sightings and fieldwork both Saturday and Sunday. The Medellin Falls Bigfoot Festival. For tickets and information, go to mfbigfoot.com.
Global Credit Union serves the men and women of our armed forces stationed around the world. We're proud to honor our military members by wearing red on Friday.
RED stands for Remember Everyone Deployed, and 4 News Now and Global Credit Union are inviting you to wear red on Fridays too.
Show your support for the men and women of our armed forces.
Tell them and their families thank you for their service and for protecting our future. Stop by any Global branch and pick up a red pin.
And then remember to wear red every Friday from now until September 11th.
Visit us online at parkersubaru.com or come by and see us at Parker Subaru in beautiful Coeur d'Alene.
All right, welcome back to 4 News Now at 6. We were talking earlier about some of the smoke we've been starting to see and smell here in the area.
Yeah, and we're still a little over a week before we get to summer.
Yeah, not welcome here.
No, it's not welcome. Get out, get out. But other than that, we're looking at a nice weekend ahead. Let's take a look outside, both Coeur d'Alene and Spokane, just seeing ample sunshine. And again, we have been getting cooler and cooler as we're moving along in this work week. If you remember, mid-90s on Monday. We're going to be about 20 degrees cooler than that as we get into tomorrow, but still we're going to be above our average temperatures for this time of year. Just a beautiful evening. Hope you've been having a chance to enjoy. So smoke, yes, is starting to seep in. Above average temperatures, though, as we get into our weekend, though we could see a little bit cooler temperatures next week and then the week following that. Some breezy conditions are continuing, but likely we are staying dry, at least for the foreseeable future. So we are, as I showed earlier, moderate air quality. So that looks like it's going to be sticking around for a bit as we're still getting in those fires, smoke from the fires in the Tri-Cities and the Dalles in Oregon. So just to kind of give you a look at what we're looking at. So moderate, just above the good air quality. So again, we're not getting into the bad zone, but next is unhealthy for sensitive groups and on up from there. So we're hoping that this is going to be a mild fire season. We're going to be keeping a close eye, though, on air quality, and you can depend on us for that. So take a look at our high temperatures for the week ahead. We're staying above our average, at least until we get to our next week. We could see cooler temperatures starting to take grip, but we're going to slowly warm up towards Monday. Nothing like we saw earlier this week, but still very comfortable conditions are on the way. And taking a look at the week after, so this is next Friday, which is the first day of summer, into the following week, we could be seeing temperatures in the lower 70s to upper 60s. So if you weren't a fan of what we saw earlier this week, you're going to be in luck with some cooler temperatures on the way. A little of everything this June. So take a look at our radar. Quite a bit of thunder and lightning up in Canada, some more in Montana. They've been hit on and off for the past month and a half with lightning, but our area is looking pretty nice. So in our forecast radar, as we head into our overnight period, we're going to see a little bit of cloud coverage coming in, and yes, we could see a quick little spritz coming into our area. We'll keep a close eye on that, of course. That'll be moving along, but another one coming in the evening hours, and that, if it just moves a little bit to the northwest, could be hitting us. So we're going to keep a close eye on that, but those showers will be very quick if they do come. So looking at our temperatures right now, we're mostly in the upper 70s to lower 80s. 86 our hot spot, our friends down in the Tri-Cities. Temperature change just a bit from yesterday, and we're going to continue to be just a bit cooler as we get into our Friday, and then we'll slowly start to get a bit warmer. Winds, again, we're seeing some gusts in the 20-mile-per-hour range. Winds are going to be slowing down a bit overnight, but we're going to get back to this intensity as we get to tomorrow afternoon. And hey, if you're thinking of doing some camping for Father's Day weekend, very nice conditions, just a little bit to the east in Steamboat Rock State Park. Good time to do it, and that looks to be the case for the next couple of weeks. So take a look at our 7-day forecast. 76 tomorrow, the spirit of 76. Then we'll be moving on. 79 and mostly sunny for your Father's Day. And then as we head into our next work week, going to be seeing a steady cool down. But still, folks, it is beautiful for our final full week of spring. We're going to be having nice temperatures and nice conditions. Just keep an eye out for that smoke. We'll update you, of course, on your air quality.
Steamboat Rock, pretty cool, by the way, if you haven't been. All right, the dream of a zip line being built in downtown Spokane is one step closer to becoming a reality.
Find out what needs to happen before people can start soaring. Still ahead.
Live stream KXLY Plus on the 4 News Now app.
Are you ready for Alicia Keys' Good Morning America live tomorrow morning? The one, the only Alicia Keys on GMA, and an incredible live performance from her Broadway hit Hell's Kitchen tomorrow on Good Morning America.
This summer, if you're looking for a new Toyota at Findlay Downtown Toyota, we've got great special offers going on now on RAV4s, as well as great financing on Tundra and Tacoma trucks.
Findlay Toyota's downtown.
Spokane Riverkeeper and the Salish School of Spokane are connecting kids with the Spokane River. Through hands-on river science, kids are learning to protect the water.
We protect and restore the Spokane River for future generations. These students carry the language and history of the land, and their voice reminds us why this work matters.
We must protect and teach.
America is honored to donate $2,500 to Spokane Riverkeeper and Salish School of Spokane. This is how New America cares for kids.
From urgent AC repairs to full system replacements, Bill's Heating and AC has you covered. See why thousands of local homeowners trust us for fast, honest heating and cooling services. We offer free second opinions, a lowest price guarantee, weekend service, free equipment quotes, and upfront pricing with no surprises. So call Bill's Heating and AC today and make this summer more comfortable than ever.
From London to New York and around the world, from the stage to the big screen, the worldwide phenomenon returns. The original, record-breaking production returns to Spokane. Mamma Mia! Celebrate the 25th anniversary of the most exhilarating smash hit musical ever. Fall in love all over again with Mamma Mia. Coming to First Interstate Center for the Arts June 17th through 22nd. Get tickets at BroadwaySpokane.com.
Here at Coeur d'Alene Honda, we're more than just a car dealership. We're family. For the past 53 years, we've been proudly serving our community.
We offer the best vehicles with a nationwide lifetime warranty.
From coast to coast, we've got you covered.
Whether you're looking for an affordable used car, we're looking to upgrade to a new Honda. We're here to make the process simple and stress-free.
It's not just about selling cars.
We give back to local charities and support our community.
And don't forget about our lifetime warranty.
Vineyard Park at South Hill, now open for independent living, assisted living, and memory care.
Now we have some breaking news just into the newsroom a few moments ago. Spokane police need your help finding these two missing teens. 16-year-old Caleb on the right and 15-year-old Gage on the left. They've been missing since this morning after leaving their home near 33rd and Fisk on the South Hill. If you see them or have any information on their whereabouts, you're asked to call Crime Check. That number on your screen right here, 509-456-2233.
Well, Spokane might surprise you. It's not just home for many of us. It's also a growing center for biomanufacturing.
With the industry booming, local companies need more skilled workers. And one big company is working with Spokane Community College to train people for these jobs. Hunter Bertram has the story.
Wanting to find a new career, psychology major Chad Borges switched from psychology to biology. We spoke today at Jubilant Hollister Steer. He'll soon be interviewing here.
I know it's a hard industry to kind of get involved in unless you've kind of done a lot of college for it.
And he's not wrong. Often you need developed skills and knowledge of the field. Wondering how to break into it, he saw an opportunity he couldn't pass up.
And they just built kind of a freeway into getting right in there and learning what you need to learn so you can be a competent and capable employee.
We have partnered with SCC to launch a program, an introduction into biomanufacturing.
This semester, they launched a new introduction to biomanufacturing program that guarantees an internship interview with Jubilant at Spokane Community College.
And we put together a curriculum that really covers the foundation of all things that we do. We manufacture sterile vaccines and medications. Everything that we do here currently is injectable with the exception of one item. But it's all cancer drugs, heart imaging agents, antifungals, things of that nature.
And a big part of this partnership is that Jubilant Hollister Steer expects to see tremendous growth in this industry in Spokane, and being able to create a partnership that develops qualified candidates is extremely valuable.
And we're not looking to just create jobs. We want to create careers.
For students like Chad Borges, if Jubilant Hollister Steer isn't the right fit, they are working with some of the other more than 70 life science companies in Spokane to find a match. I'm Hunter Bertram, 4 News Now.
Well, still ahead, concerns that Spokane's Pride Parade may clash with ICE protests also happening this weekend. What organizers are doing to make sure the event is safe for everyone.
Live stream KXLY Plus on the 4 News Now app.
If you want to shine this summer and say goodbye to that winter weight, then this is the perfect time to join Move Fitness for almost $1 a day to get your body sculpted for the swimsuit season.
Elegance, style, quality, custom made for your project. Agalite shower doors and bath enclosures by River City Glass are designed for a lifetime of use. Timeless beauty that speaks for itself with superior quality and exceptional value. offering exquisite custom wine room enclosures and office room glass, specializing in custom mirrors crafted to fit your space, producing high-performance glass for every project, residential and commercial. River City Glass.
What does it mean to be here for good? It means being here for the artists who dream, the shop owner who knows your order by heart, and the mentors who leave a lasting impact. Here for singing Take Me Out to the Ball Game and big comeback stories. Here for the long haul from Omak to Sandpoint to Baker City. Here for your family, your neighbors, for you. STCU. Here for good.
So you want somewhere to play? We got you. A nice relaxing stay? We got you. Wanna be entertained? We got you. Wanna play golf all day? We got you. Go to Lake Casino. The winning is just the beginning. So you're looking for something to do? We got you. Want some tasty food? We got you. Heard you wanna do some shopping? We got you. The live music is always popping at the Go to Lake Casino. At the Go to Lake Casino. Go to Lake Casino. The winning is just the beginning.
It's Operation Dads and Grads this week at both Cal locations, where you can get an extra $500 for your trade-in, plus delay all payments for 60 days, and enter to win a Traeger grill this week at Cal.
Hello there, I'm Ryan Reynolds. I want to introduce you to nature's benchwarmers. Get ready for the underdogs. You tell them, Green Day. I'm here for these guys. Now it's their time to shine. Strap in for the ride, my friends. Gross.
Live from downtown Spokane, this is 4 News Now at 6:30.
Well, this Saturday is Spokane's Pride Parade. Hundreds of people are expected to make their way down to Riverfront Park for the event.
With the several other protests taking place on Saturday, safety is a big concern for Pride organizers. Our Madeline Mullins joins us live. So, Madeline, what steps is Pride taking to make sure everyone going is safe?
When I spoke to Pride organizers today, they told me safety is a big concern for them with all the different events that are taking place here in downtown Spokane this weekend. But they said Pride is a joyous and peaceful event, and they're working with several organizations to keep it that way.
On a day that's meant to be peaceful and joyous, nerves and safety concerns are top of mind for many.
With that political thunder going on, yeah, we're a little worried.
Which is why Pride organizers are doing what they can to keep the peace on Saturday.
Our volunteers all get a small amount of safety training as well. All of the stages have direct lines of communication to the command center and back and forth, so if there's any sort of emergency announcements that we need to make, they're immediately sent to the stages.
They're doing this with the help of several organizations.
A Peace and Justice Action League is also going to be here helping us with de-escalation throughout the park all day. And then we also have our angels. They have these big giant angel wings. They help kind of block out some noise and protesters, and they'll be around throughout the day as well to help keep peace and things like that.
Organizers say there are ways you can come prepared as well.
If there is some protester or something else going on, don't engage. We have people that are trained in handling that.
And phone numbers for Pride's command center will be posted around the park. So if there's a problem on Saturday, that is the number to call. And for everyone heading down to the Pride Parade who have extra nerves this year, this is what organizers want you to know.
We want you to be here and to show off just queer joy throughout Spokane and Pride, both within the LGBTQIA+ community and also in Spokane itself.
And Pride organizers tell me that this is a community event with over 50 local organizations taking part, and they want the whole Spokane community to be able to come out and safely enjoy it. Live in downtown Spokane, I'm Madeline Mullins, 4 News Now.
All right, Madeline, thank you. Law enforcement in Kootenai County are working together to prepare for protests in Coeur d'Alene this weekend. The protests are centered around the Trump administration and its policies, including the No Kings protest in downtown Coeur d'Alene. Derek Strom spoke to Coeur d'Alene police about keeping the protests peaceful.
If you're here, to protest peacefully, and if you're here for the car show, enjoy the car show.
Protests will be held around the country on Saturday to rally against the Trump administration, including in Coeur d'Alene on Highway 95 near Appleway Avenue. The protests are organized by the Indivisible Project, which hosted other protests in Coeur d'Alene as recently as this month, but law enforcement plans to have a large presence at the protests this weekend.
We want to take the steps that are necessary to protect everybody's rights, both to exercise their First Amendment rights and protest peacefully, and then also to keep everybody safe for the events that we have. And so those are things that are important to us.
Coeur d'Alene Police says it plans to work with the Kootenai County Sheriff's Office and Idaho State Police to keep the protests peaceful. The Sheriff's Office says it plans to have a very large presence this weekend in case of any violence.
We have a great working relationship with both the Kootenai County and with the state police, and if we need resources, they've been great in the past at helping us out anytime that we've needed them.
Coeur d'Alene Police says it doesn't just work with local law enforcement agencies when it comes to protests. It had a few of its officers called to Spokane for the protests earlier this week, and it could call on agencies from Washington to send help as well if it needs it this weekend.
The people that live in this area don't know that there's a state line, and the state line wouldn't necessarily stop us. If they need help, obviously we want to be able to assist them, and they were concerned about things that could happen, and so we had officers that were ready to go. And
the Kootenai County Sheriff's Office says it's focused on enforcing the rule of law in case of any violence at protests. Sheriff Bob Norris said in a statement, "While I fully support your right to free speech, actions involving violence, destruction of property, including those against law enforcement officers, will be met with a swift and lawful response." In Coeur d'Alene, Derek Strom, 4 News Now.
It has been warm and smoky today.
Yeah, but it is cooling off a little bit. Let's send it over to Jason Valentine.
Yeah, for folks who didn't like the mid-90s earlier this week, you're in luck. We are still above our average for this time of year for our weekend and today, but we are going to be seeing cooler temperatures on the way. Hope you've had a wonderful Thursday so far. And as we said, we're starting to see some air quality concerns. We're just in the moderate zone for the Inland Empire, but we're starting to see some smoke coming in from fires in the Tri-Cities area and in the Dalles. But if you look just north in Canada, just to the northeast, you can see some red there. That is in the unhealthy zone. So fires, folks, are starting to take grip, and we're still over a week before summer. Here's the area smoke, and again, you can see the Tri-Cities literally feeding into that smoke, and the Dalles could be starting to feed into our area as we get into tomorrow. It just depends, of course, on the wind. So we're going to take a very close look at that. We do have some smoke forecast, and again, look at that plume coming in from the Dalles, starting to reach into at least the Pullman area tomorrow very early. So again, smoke concerns starting, and we hope it's going to be a mild fire season, but we're already starting to see it. But other than that, we're looking at a beautiful overnight period. Overnight lows starting to cool down into the mid-50s. We are seeing some winds that are staying pretty consistent into tomorrow, bring in some comfort, at least from the heat. But cooler temperatures are going to start to take grip. I'll get you and your family ready in my first alert weather forecast. That's coming up.
All right, thanks, Jason. So Spokane is one step closer to getting a zip line downtown. The city's park board unanimously approved a plan for that zip line to be built along the Spokane River. The line would take riders from the Place of Truth Plaza, just below Spokane City Hall, under the Monroe Street Bridge, and onto a platform in Peaceful Valley on the east side of Red Band Park. The plan now heads to the City Council for consideration.
We saw a marmot in the video there. I can just imagine you screaming as you saw the marmot because you love marmots.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, the NBA Finals continued last night with the Indiana Pacers earning the Game 3 win.
With Oklahoma City Thunder on the losing side, the pressure's on for Game 4 tomorrow. After the break in sports, take a listen to former Zag Chet Holmgren on how the Thunder can rebound. And with suicide still a leading cause of death for young people, meet the teens turning pain into purpose and leading a new movement for mental health. Next, right here on 4 News Now.
Live stream KXLY Plus on the 4 News Now app.
Kelly, where do your best mornings start?
Where do you think?
The best mornings start with Kelly and Mark.
Weekdays at 9 on KXLY ABC4.
If you want to shine this summer and say goodbye to that winter weight, then this is the perfect time to join Move Fitness for almost $1 a day to get your body sculpted for the swimsuit season.
It's Walker's Furniture's 45th anniversary sale, where you can buy like friends and family with savings up to 45% off.
Or get no interest financing for up to 5 years.
It's a great time to save at Walker's. Since 1983, Nissan has been assembling award-winning vehicles for you, right here in America. And we're committed to keeping our lineup affordable and free from new tariffs. That's why we've lowered MSRP on our best-selling Rogue and Pathfinder. So you can get the car you want, at the price you want, knowing Nissan is here for you at the Nissan Summer Sales Event.
Now get 0% APR financing for 60 months on the 2025 Nissan Rogue or Pathfinder.
Barry Manilow. The last Spokane concert. Barry Manilow. See him performing all the hits for one night only at Spokane Arena Friday, July 11th. Get tickets now at ticketswest.com.
Hi, I'm Doug Trudeau with Trudeau's Marina. It's summertime. It's time to get out on the water and experience the fun of boating. We have a huge selection of new boats to choose from. Find the best fit for you and your family at Trudeau's Marina. All our boats are powered by Mercruiser. So if you're in the market for a boat, come in and see us at Trudeau's Marina in downtown Spokane.
I'm Mark Peterson, the Extreme Team and Horizon Credit Union, ready to take on our next job. If you know of a project that needs an Extreme Team makeover, go to KXLY.com to nominate it. Our thanks to Horizon Credit Union for sponsoring the 4 News Now Extreme Team.
For the second time this NBA Finals series, the underdog Indiana Pacers lead by 1. But unlike their game-1 miracle last night, was a methodical breakdown of Oklahoma City, one that came despite not a big game from Andrew Nembhard and a tremendous first quarter from Chet Holmgren. Pacers refused to back down after a solid Thunder start. Holmgren with 13 points and 4 rebounds, shooting nearly perfectly from the field. But as the game progressed, Chet and the Thunder faltered in the second half and the fourth quarters, allowing Indy to take the first halftime lead of the series and first win without needing a last-second shot this time. Holmgren spoke to the media today, reflecting on the loss and how OKC can reply in a pivotal Game 4.
I feel like we have to get back to being who we are, especially on the defensive end, being more connected. We have to close out possessions, and then on the other side, we have to take care of the ball and, execute the way that, execute to the level and the standard that we expect from ourselves.
Oklahoma City and Indiana tip off Game 4 in Indy tomorrow night at 5:30 p.m. right back here on ABC. The Gonzaga Bulldogs roster continues to fill out as the offseason progresses. Today, adding walk-on Alonzo Metz. The high school recruit formerly played at Jesuit High School in Portland. That's the same spot as former walk-on Matt Lang. And then transferred to Riviera Prep. That's down in Miami, Florida. Now, with the portal additions of Adam Miller and Ty Grant Foster, the Zags have 4 open scholarship spots remaining. Mario Saint-Superi, the teenage international prospect playing in Spain, most likely to fill in that next spot. Now, it's been a pretty rough going for the Seattle Mariners. They come off a Diamondback sweep this past weekend, but the biggest issue isn't just the losses, it's how the Mariners have lost. The M's haven't strung together more than a pair of wins since mid-May, and one of the most significant indicators of the free fall has been players left on base. For Seattle, that number so far this season is 493. Second most in the American League, plus an abysmal batting average of just .222 with runners in scoring position. Only these 3 teams are worse: White Sox, Rockies, Orioles. June Blues as well. Seattle beat Minnesota in a walk-off on June 1st, but ever since, a downhill slide. Mariners are now under 500 for the first time since mid-April, and the AL West race, Houston Astros 4 games ahead. LA Angels tied Seattle for second. So now we can look ahead to the next series, Seattle returning home, taking on the Cleveland Guardians. Cleveland beat Seattle in their season series the past 2 years. First back-to-back season series wins for Cleveland over Seattle since 1998 to 2000. First pitch at T-Mobile Park is tomorrow at 7:10 p.m. So, Derek, I didn't mean to torture you with that segment, but it was pretty a little bit eye-opening just sort of seeing that. But Cleveland, that's a tough test. The AL Central has been really good this year.
I figured something out yesterday.
Okay.
After we took 2 of 3 from the White Sox in Chicago, the Mariners chided the Pope that said, "Please forgive us, Pontifex," on Twitter. Since then, they're 5 and 14. Somebody's got to start doing some rosaries and fast.
They got a
Superstitions
blessing.
are real.
That's
Yeah.
really
They're real.
good. I
All
like
right.
that.
Jack, thank you so much. Well, mental health is a growing concern for teens and young adults. According to the National Alliance on Mental Illness, 50% of all lifetime mental illness begins by age 14 and 75% by age 24.
Yeah, so youth advocates are addressing this problem head on, creating programs and working together to get resources to help their peers. ABC's Michelle Franzen has the stories of 2 students who are making a real difference.
The Jed Foundation, a nonprofit organization started 25 years ago by parents who lost their son Jed to suicide, is on a mission to protect the emotional and mental health of our nation's teens and young adults, and they're making progress.
College students who attend schools that participate in our Jed campus program have seen a 25% reduction in suicide attempts.
But Jed CEO John McPhee knows there is still more work to be done, with CDC data showing suicide is the second leading cause of death for teens and young adults. And he says there's no better messenger than someone who is like you.
In a very, very powerful way, showing the peers that they're not alone. Their friends and their peers are experiencing the same things.
This is why Jed is honoring 2 young advocates with the Student Voice of Mental Health Award. College award winner Nora Sun says her friends were there for her when she struggled with her mental health in high school.
That made me realize that peer support can be a life-saving resource.
She founded the Little Talks Movement, an online support network which trains teens and young adults to become mental health peer guides.
The goal of our movement is to help youth identify someone that they can reach out to prior to that moment of crisis.
Sun is also the CEO of the nonprofit Mercury.World, which translates mental health resources into 31 different languages.
It's really gratifying to hear people say that our work helped them express themselves in their native language for the very first time.
High school award recipient Rohan Satija also struggled with his mental health growing up. He immigrated from Auckland, New Zealand to Austin, Texas in 5th grade and says he was bullied due to his accent and cultural differences. He turned to books with stories that featured characters similar to himself.
When they won in their stories, I felt like I could win in my own story.
When he learned about the prevalence of book deserts in Texas, he and his younger sister founded the Let's Learn Foundation.
We've donated over 60,000 books to over 13,000 students from under-resourced schools.
In 2023, Satija founded the Vibrant Voices Project.
I run monologue writing workshops for youth in juvenile detention, helping them convert their mental health struggles into powerful monologues that they can perform for each other.
Both Satija and Sun plan to go into careers where they will continue their advocacy for mental health. Michelle Franzen, ABC News, New York.
Well, folks, after that scorching start to our work week, we've been cooling down, but we're still quite warm and still just over a week away from summer. Let me get you ready for your Father's Day weekend. That is next on 4 News Now at 6.
Live stream KXLY Plus on the 4 News Now app.
Now, playing your favorite games at Northern Quest could be the start of something big. Big as in a new Chevy Silverado 2500 heavy-duty pickup. It's our $120,000 payload payday. Just play daily to enter, and you could win your choice of a new Chevy Silverado or a truckload of cash. But then, how would you haul it home? You'll figure it out. The $120,000 payload payday, only at Northern Quest.
Mark Peterson with 4 News Now Extreme Team. We're bringing a bit of color to senior citizens in 4 assisted living homes with Gardening for Grands. Thanks to East Valley Middle School for volunteering, and thanks to Horizon Credit Union for sponsoring the 4 News Now Extreme Team.
Bathfitter showers have got people talking. Our wide selection of showers means it's exactly what we wanted. Seamless and watertight walls are much easier to clean than tiles and grout. And they stay in excellent shape. Every Bathfitter shower is backed by a lifetime warranty. And with thousands of 5-star reviews, the experience exceeds expectations. It's no wonder millions of Bathfitter customers love their new shower. It just fits. Go to bathfitter.com to book your free consultation.
I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere, man. Across the deserts bare, man. I breathe the mountain air, man. Of travel I've had my share, man. I've been everywhere. I've been everywhere, man. Across the deserts bare, man. I breathe the mountain air, man. Of travel, I've had my share, man. I've been everywhere.
Wherever you need us, American On Site.
Style or substance? Somehow, it became one or the other. But there is another choice. Not stopping until you have everything in the GMC Sierra. Or get 0% APR on select Sierra 1500 models. That's over $4,300 in average finance savings. We are professional grade.
BECU wants to help celebrate your dad this June with the Fantastic Father's Day contest. Send us a photo of your father and tell us the impact he's had on your life. He'll be entered for a chance to win a $100 gift card to Agers Meats. Fantastic Fathers, brought to you by BECU. 4 News Now is brought to you by Horizon Credit Union, proud sponsor of the Extreme Team.
Good Thursday evening, everyone. Hope you've had a wonderful day today and hope you have a great weekend planned and hope you remember Dad as we get to Sunday. So tonight we've been looking at just beautiful conditions. And again, we're seeing a little bit of that smoke start to seep in. But other than that, we are looking at a very fine weekend ahead. And we're looking at cooler temperatures. So if you didn't like all that heat as we started this work week, we do have some relief on the way. We were already seeing it, but even more relief is on the way. So yes, smoke coming into our regions. Above average temperatures continuing at least for most of the week ahead. Some breezy conditions. We've seen some breeze in the last couple of days. It's kept things a little bit cooler, at least helped that way. And usually that brings in fresher air, but with the smoke going on in parts of the northwest, bringing that in, but likely to stay dry. Could see a hint of showers though early. I'll get to that in a bit. So as I stated earlier, we are in that moderate zone of air quality. Again, we're not seeing too bad air quality just yet, but we're getting quite a lot of smoke in from the Tri-Cities and the Dalles area, and we just hope that certainly stops. If you just need a refresher on the zones for air quality, good is where we're usually at. We're at the moderate zone right now. Our next step would be unhealthy for sensitive groups, then unhealthy on up to hazardous. So hopefully we stay at the moderate or good as we get into our weekend. So high temperature trend, we are going to be down to 76 tomorrow. That's about 20 degrees below what we saw just Monday. So quite a difference in just 5 days. Then we're going to apex at Monday at 81, then back down to the first time we're going to be below the average, right around 73 on Thursday for the past couple of weeks. And as we move into the week after this, so this includes next Friday, the 20th, a week from tomorrow, which is the first day of summer, into that following week. And we could see temperatures in the lower 70s to upper 60s on the way. So cooler temperatures are going to be taking grip. So on our radar, our area is looking very nice. A lot of lightning going on, kind of a halo effect. But as we move into tomorrow morning, we could see just a little bit of shower activity rumbling in very early. That'll move on out, and then we should be looking at nicer conditions as we move along. So current temperatures mostly in the upper 70s to lower 80s. Lewiston at 85, Tri-Cities at 86. And we're just a little bit off of where we were yesterday, and we'll continue to be just a little off tomorrow before we start warming back up. So current winds, we've been seeing gusts in the 20-mile-per-hour range for many of our regions. We'll see winds start to decrease a little bit overnight, but then pick back up tomorrow. And hey, it's a perfect weekend to do some camping, maybe with Dad. Just a little bit to our east, Steamboat Rock State Park. All right, let's take a look at our 7-day forecast. 76 tomorrow for your Friday, 79 for your Father's Day on Sunday, and then a bit cooler conditions, but still we're looking to be staying mostly dry, though we could see just a hint of shower activity tomorrow. But folks, a lovely and cooler next 7 days is ahead.
All right, Jason, thank you. Investigators from around the world are set to help officials in India following the devastating Air India crash this morning.
It's the first crash of a Boeing 787 Dreamliner ever. And of the 242 people on board, officials tell ABC News at least one person did survive. ABC's Christiane Cordero has the latest from Washington, D.C.
It was in the air for roughly 30 seconds, as seen in the airport surveillance video. This Air India flight took off from the country's northwest region with 242 people on board. You can see it clearly struggling to gain altitude, getting just about 600 feet up before gliding into its descent. The Boeing 787 Dreamliner, fueled up for what would have been a 9-hour flight to London, erupted in a fireball on impact.
The whole
hallmark of accident investigation is you rule nothing in and you rule nothing out. But by the same token, you'd have to be blind not to see that this aircraft did not have sufficient thrust to remain in the air. And that's going to be the question, why?
It crashed into a densely populated residential area. Charred debris scattered. Part of the plane hit a local medical college. It's unclear if the crash injured or killed anyone on the ground. But miraculously, after police said there were no survivors, officials say one passenger survived the crash and is in the hospital, adding he was sitting in seat 11A. The BBC reports the survivor is a British man who called his family to say he's fine and that he doesn't know where his brother is, who was also on board. In the search for answers, a promising sign for investigators. The plane's tail, where the crucial black boxes are stored, is intact, sticking out of the side of the medical college building.
We are going to do a fair and thorough investigation. We are not going to spare anyone. We are not going to leave any stone unturned.
This is the first Boeing 787 Dreamliner crash ever. The plane was 11 years old. It had 41,000 hours of flying time. Boeing and Air India have each offered condolences and help with the investigation. The owner of Air India has also offered financial compensation to the families of each victim. Christiane Cordero, ABC News, Washington.
All right, as we head into a break, you can take a look at ABC's primetime lineup for tonight.
Live stream KXLY Plus on the 4 News Now app.
We owe everything to our troops, past and present, for their honor, courage, and dedication. As a token of our appreciation, 4 News Now and Global Credit Union encourage you once again to wear red on Fridays.
Join us in recognizing our troops and their families for allowing us the freedom we enjoy every day as Americans. Stop into any Global branch to pick up a red pin and show your support.
And then wear red every Friday from now until September 11.
Wear Red Fridays, brought to you by 4 News Now and Global Credit Union.
Coeur d'Alene Denture Clinic is locally owned and operated and has been providing personalized, comfortable, and satisfying care to our clients for over 30 years. Our licensed denturists are trained in the latest techniques in the construction, development, and preparatory work of a denture. Full dentures, implant attachments, repairs, fittings, adjustments, we do it all. Every denture is made to look as close as possible to your natural teeth. With our knowledge and friendly staff, competitive costs, and quality of service, you'll leave Coeur d'Alene Denture Clinic smiling.
What about now? Is that what a thief looks like? Eyes were softer. Can I mean, just... This is him. This is the guy. You need an eye exam. Wait weeks for an appointment? Now that's criminal.
Word on the street is at Stanton Optical, you don't have to wait for an eye exam. That way you don't miss important details like faces. 2 pairs of glasses and a free eye exam for $79 all same day. Stanton Optical, easy as our thing.
You'll love Yachtly Crew, a 7-piece SoCal band who has started a nationwide yacht rock craze. Live at the Coeur d'Alene Casino Thursday, July 3rd. George Thorogood and the Destroyers bring their roof-shaking rock party to the Coeur d'Alene Casino live Thursday, July 31st. Winter Music Nashville's multi-platinum star Gabby Barrett is an unstoppable force in country music and will be live at the Coeur d'Alene Casino Thursday, August 14th. Visit the Coeur d'Alene Casino box office or cdacasino.com for tickets.
Winning is just the beginning.
It's Operation Dads and Grads this week at both Cal locations, where you can get an extra $500 for your trade-in, plus delay all payments for 60 days, and enter to win a Traeger grill this week at Cal.
The mom booted out of court for making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
You're in court, okay?
That's not all the judge was objecting to.
Is that a roll?
Next, Inside Edition.
Watch 4 News Now at 6 and Inside Edition at 7.
You love AFP.
Yes!
Get ready for AFP.
It's America's funniest people.
Hot dog! Hosted by Alfonso Ribeiro and Allison Hannigan. An AFP special, Sunday on ABC.
Well, coming up tonight on Nightside, if you're planning on doing some traveling with the family this summer, we'll have the tips to protect everyone from common viruses. It's coming up tonight on Nightside, starting at 11.
Looking forward to that. And also, what a nice day we've had today. A perfect start to your weekend tomorrow, though we could see a quick spritz early. But looking at mostly sunny skies, highs in the mid-70s, a little bit of wind, just like we've been seeing the past couple of days.
These are perfect Friday temperatures.
I love it.
I'm giving my stamp of approval.
Not bad at all. See you at 11.